Remember, there's some pretty important information here in the disclaimer. You might want to give the video a quick pause and read it.
Hello my friends, this is Wakeangel2001 coming at you with another custom figure. This was the winner of my last YouTube poll, the Link Sonic from the Lost World Legend of Zelda DLC. And I decided to do it now for a couple of reasons. One being that I was having a hard time getting the motivation to make my next commission when I realized it's been over 2 months since I last did something for myself. And, you know, you gotta keep the creative juices flowing with the stuff that you're passionate about. And, the second thing was when they announced that whole, Sonic and DC Comics crossover with all the Sonic characters dressed up as popular DC heroes. That's, you know, crossovers are kind of my bread and butter. I remember, all those years ago when I did my thing, it was kind of a little Halloween, comic page thing. The difference is that I didn't have Silver in my cast, and I had Tails as the Green Lantern, and Amy Rose was Stargirl, which is kind of funny because I thought it wasn't that deep a cut, but apparently nobody at the time recognized Stargirl. Even now that she's had a whole ass CW series based off of her, there's still some people who don't know who she is. That's kind of sad. Anyway, well, if you want my 10-second opinion on this crossover, I kind of don't like the way that Tails looks as Cyborg. I feel like if they went with the Cyborg from the Teen Titans cartoon look, then that would probably be better for the aesthetic. But, like, this version of Cyborg, it's too angular, it's too sharp. It doesn't really blend with the Sonic style as well. Yeah, but really that's my only gripe. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, I was inspired to make a crossover figure of Sonic because of this. We'll see if I make customs of the DC things. I want to see if we get official figures first. If they announce they're getting official figures, then yay. If it turns out that there's a bunch of Funko Pops, I'm going ahead and making real figures anyway. Alright, so let's get to actually making Link Sonic. The base figure, of course, is Sonic the Hedgehog. This, of course, is the big smiling swagger one. I think, yeah, this is one of the ones that I got off of that lot of spare figures that I bought in order to get my hands on a Rouge at a low price. So, you know, he dismantles the way that any other Sonic figure dismantles. And, well, let's do this by degree. First was the shoes. I decided instead of sculpting up you know, I would start with Sonic's regular shoes so I would be able to keep the ball joints and the ankles, allowing him to balance better. So I just sculpted around them to make them round like Link's boots and then gave them an appropriate paint job. And the hands are really just a paint job too. Like, the gloves are now brown with silver cuffs to be like the armored, I don't know, what do you call those things on the end of a gauntlet that has a little bit of armor on them? A curious? I have no idea what you call it. But yeah, that was that. The body is what actually required a little bit of modification to it. I had to remove the two back spines and Sonic's tail, as you can see from this picture on the back, which, it always seemed weird to me that the costume that he wore in the DLC didn't have holes in the back for his tail and spines. That's like, you know, cartoon character clothing 101, but I don't know, whatever. He doesn't have them sticking out, so I had to remove them so that the figure looks accurate. From the front, I just had to sculpt on the chest detail to show the little V-cut for the shirt in the front. And I had a nice little two-tiered approach to the arms. First, I sculpted a thin layer of epoxy on Sonic's biceps, and then wrapped electrical tape around my sculpt to create the effect of the whole, you know, the scale mail underneath the tunic look that he had. I believe that was a look that was common in both Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword. That's what they were going for. But yeah, like that's the look that I decided to go for as well. Speaking of which, I did the thing again where I used electrical tape to make the flexible skirts for the tunic. In this case, I applied the electrical tape slightly off center so that there will be a little bit sticking out from the bottom, which I painted silver to create the layered effect for the scale mail that comes out just a little bit underneath the tunic shirt. You know, as is accurate to the design from the game. Then I glued it around Sonic's waist to create the effect. And the belt is another piece of electrical tape that I wrapped around after painting it brown. This piece of electrical tape I tripled over itself to make it, you know, look thick like a belt. As an added flair, I decided to use one of the boot cuffs that I cut off of the shoe to make the belt buckle. Like, I kind of feel it's appropriate that that is Sonic's own buckle. So, yeah. All things told, the body modifications are relatively light. It's, you know, like I know I said I removed spines and everything, but really that took no, the spines are literally glued on. I just had to, like, kind of cut the glue off. It's not a big deal. The real big deal of this one came with the head. Now, here's a little bit of trivia that I learned. The head from the Jakks Pacific 4-inch Sonic figure weighs 1.6 ounces. After I cut off the 4 spines that the hat covers, I weighed the spines separately, and they came out to that 0.6 ounces. So that means that all the sculpting for the hat had to use epoxy that weighed no more than 0.6 ounces. I didn't want to make the head any heavier than it originally was, so that the figure wouldn't become top heavy. Of course, given the size of the hat, that's not enough epoxy to make this shape. So what I did was I made a core for the hat out of a loosely rolled up cone of tissue paper. Like, literally tissue paper. So if you crack open the veneer of epoxy that goes on top of this hat, you'll find literally a brown tissue from McDonald's in there. But with a paint job, it does create the effect of Sonic's, you know, Link hat, which he used to cover 4 of his head spines. Must be pretty tightly compressed in there, if you ask me. But all said and done, that is Link Sonic. It's kind of cool that he has a holding thing hand. I know it was originally meant to hold his rings, but, you know, since Jakks Pacific has also made Link figures in the past, that means that there is a Master Sword that you can put in there. So, yeah. That is a great official crossover figure, and I'm sure that got everyone super excited. I know it got me super excited. I must have played that DLC stage more than I played the actual base game. Alright, so thanks for watching this video. This is Wakeangel2001, letting Sonic take us out like he always does.
Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Sonic! Sonic the Hedgehog! Just here to remind you that if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. And for even more amazing customs, don't forget to subscribe to Wakeangel2001. Because between you and me, they're way past cool.